everyone. Wayne Motts, the President Emeritus and historian at the Gettysburg Foundation, coming to you on the fields of Pickett's Charge with the 8th Ohio Volunteer Infantry Regiment right behind me for our Wall of Faces Casualties at Gettysburg episode today, featuring one Union and one Confederate soldier killed, wounded, or captured on our Wall of Faces at the Gettysburg National Military Park Museum and Visitor Center inside the Museum of the American Civil War. We're featuring one each here on July 3rd, 1863. And we're near this memorial behind me because one of these soldiers, Edward Jones of the 8th Ohio Volunteer Infantry Regiment, is who we're going to feature today. And I made a couple little notes about Jones. We don't know a lot about him. He's born around 1839, and he appears in the Ohio Census in 1850 at age 11 and 1860. By 1860, he is a farmhand in Port Republic, Ohio. He joins the 8th Ohio on May 28, 1861, when he enlists in Company A of the 8th Ohio Volunteer Infantry Regiment. He's 21 years old, and he is wounded both at Chancellorsville and Gettysburg. Now, he's badly wounded here at Gettysburg. He's sent to Camp Dennison, which is in Cincinnati, Ohio, and he actually dies from his wound here at Gettysburg, according to the medical surgical history, on 28 February 1864. He's buried at the Farewell Retreat Cemetery in Seneca County, Ohio. That's up in northern Ohio. And the image actually has his friend, Limmel Stover, who was a quartermaster sergeant, the two of them together, taken sometime between 1862 and 1863. So the 8th Ohio Volunteer Infantry Regiment, right out here on July 3rd, they're going to smash into the left side, firing to the left of the attacking column of the Confederates here, and one of the casualties will be Edward Jones. Now, against these troops will be part of Isaac Trimble's division. He's going to take over as a Confederate Major General for the wounded William Dorsey Pender here on July 3rd, 1863. And our Confederate casualty today, opposite Edward Jones, will be Major General Isaac Ridgway Trimble. Right here along where the Emmitsburg Road is, Isaac Ridgway Trimble. What an interesting guy, and he's got a tremendous record in the Civil War. He's born in 1802, so he's 61 years old here in the Battle of Gettysburg. He's born in Culpeper County. He gets appointed to West Point and graduates there in 1822. He's the oldest West Point graduate on the battlefield of Gettysburg. He's not the oldest officer, but he's the oldest graduate of West Point here on July 3rd, 1863, and he's appointed to West Point from the state of Kentucky. He spends 10 years in the regular army, he resigns, and then he becomes a railroad engineer for the B&O Railroad, and he's associated mostly with the state of Maryland. When the Civil War breaks out, he gets an engineering commission, and by 1861, he becomes a volunteer brigadier general. He'll be with Stonewall Jackson in the Shenandoah Valley. He'll be in action at Cross Keys with Jackson in 1862. And he'll be wounded in the leg at 2nd Manassas. And that wound is so bad that it takes him a long time to come back into the service. He'll come back, he'll be here at Gettysburg, and he'll get temporary command on July 3rd. And he's not with his command very long because he's going to lead it in Pickett's Charge, mounted on his horse, when right behind me, he will be shot in the leg, and his leg will actually be amputated from this wound. His horse, and his diary is published, and he says, poor Jenny, my noble beast, is able to get him off of the battlefield before it dies. But he'll end up in the seminary hospital. He goes to Johnson's Island Prison in Ohio, and he's not exchanged until March of 1865. He lives to be a very old man. He dies January 2nd, 1888, when he is 85 years old, and he's buried in the Greenmount Cemetery in Baltimore, Maryland, and there's a bunch of Union and Confederate connections in there, but some famous connections that you probably know: Joseph E. Johnston, Confederate generals buried in there, and also the remains of John Wilkes Booth, Lincoln assassin. So Edward Jones of the 8th Ohio Volunteer Infantry Regiment and Isaac Trimble, both of them, Jones killed here, Trimble wounded here on July 3rd, 1863, are Union and Confederate soldier for Wall of Faces casualties at Gettysburg, wounded and mortally wounded right where we're speaking. We sure hope you enjoyed this video. Please like it, share it, pass it around, and support our causes in supporting the Gettysburg Foundation. We thank you very much.